Okay, so quick video guys, but we are going to be installing a Cat 5 cable run in a buddy of mine's house. We're here at Lowe's picking up everything we need that I didn't have on hand. It's way cheaper online, but what are you gonna do? So what you're doing here is you want to move it down from where you actually want it, about ½ inch.
Okay.
And then you're just gonna punch, just make a mark basically at the, because you're not cutting to the lip, you're cutting to this thing. So you make a mark where that is on both sides, and then you move it up, do the same thing, and then you do it again from the side.
Got it.
Of course you can get stencils and stuff. This one just didn't come with one, and this is pretty fast. So after cutting out the drywall, these old work low voltage plates just slide into the hole, or sometimes add a little force and they'll snap right in. Then you take a Phillips screwdriver and tighten up this screw, which tightens those little wings against the back of the drywall and holds them in place. So at this hole, we found a piece of electrical cable. This is feeding the outlets in this room. It's the downside to doing the work kind of at the same height as all the other outlets is this is likely to happen. When you're drilling, if you go slow, that cable will move out of the way, or the drill bit will go around it. When you go to do your drywall cut in, be aware that that can happen, because that would be a bad day to cut into that. We're gonna have to open up a whole chunk of this wall to fix it. And you know, electricity hurts. All right, so we've got a big spool of wires, 1,000 feet. These are running $250-ish, depending on where you get them and what quality. This is Cat 5. You see there's 8 little wires in there, and we're just gonna run that right through the wall. So what we're gonna do is run 2 lines, because Dan's got 2 computers here he wants to hook up, and we have these double outlet plates. Now there's 2 things you can do here. The unofficial cheap way to do it, you run 1 line, and that wire has 4 pairs of wires, or 8 wires total in it. You can use 4 of the wires to make 1 connection, and 4 of the wires to make a second connection, but that limits you to 100 megabit service. So we're actually gonna run 2 separate wires so Dan can take advantage of his full transfer speed between computers and out to the internet. Guys, I want you all to do me a favor too and give Dan a congratulations down in the comments. He actually just became a US citizen, and I was honored enough to be there at his ceremony, so congratulations to you, Dan, and welcome to the country. We're better for having you. Thanks.
Congratulations, you're now the newest United States citizens.
So it's a perfectly valid argument to say, why the hell are you running this wire out of the house instead of going up into the attic? And the reason is that where this wire is going, there's a fireplace. So we'd be running a lot of extra wire, and it would be a real pain, and it is a real pain to get to in the attic. So we're just going outside because they don't care. So there you go. So Dan's pulled the cable. Now I'm pulling enough. Where's that other hole? Right here. And this can happen. You have to be aware of it. We blew out a little piece of this brick here. We don't care. Dan doesn't care. So we feed that back in through the hole. Okay, so when you run cable outside of your house, you want to put a drip loop on it always. That means we're gonna take the cable and loop downward before we start our run. And that drip loop there is so that water will drip off of it. So I know I'm using a bunch of tools to get this job done, but this is not a big tool job. You really just need to drill, a concrete bit, and some anchors. I just happen to have an SDS, so we're using that. So now we're gonna silicone up our holes. There we go. And again, this doesn't need to be complicated. I actually like these handheld tubes of silicone because they're easier to kind of get into the small parts and really seal up some wires. This is one place, don't skip it. You know, a little bit of silicone now is gonna save you a lot of water damage later, so do it right. So we're using these punch down connectors instead of putting ends on the cables because we actually want outlets in the wall. What we're gonna do is run each wire in there, and the 8 individual wires get put into those 8 spots. They're marked, it's pretty easy to do. But these ones are fun because you can color code them. So that's what we're gonna do. So you just put these little covers on, and then the cover snaps into the back of this, like that. And then there you go. So this way we'll have blue and blue, red and red, and they'll know which cables go to which connector. Okay, so we're gonna strip the Cat 5 open. We'll start out by just cutting it off. That's this one. All right. Now, which is it? Now you can just do this with a pocket knife, but I have the tool, so it makes it real easy. You do not want to nick the little wires. So you untwist these. Now if you have like gigabit service, you want to untwist these as little as possible because you can actually get interference there. We're talking about 100 Mbit service or a little bit more here, so not worried about that. All right, so we've got our 8 individual wires, and these are labeled as blue, orange, green, and red. Red's normally brown nowadays, but just for argument's sake. And each pair is going to be a solid wire and then a white wire with a stripe of the same color. So we got blue, blue, white, orange, orange, white, green, green, white, and red, red, white. If you look on the little punch down inserts, oh, they're actually brown on these ones, you'll see where they go. Now you can pick, there's 2 coloring schemes here. You can pick which one you want to use, either A or B, doesn't matter, just pick one. We're going to go with A. Now you'll need a little punch down tool. These are like a couple bucks, so don't get bent out of shape about that. And what's happening is there's little razors in there that are cutting into the wire and pinching it, and that's what holds it in place. All right, so there we are. Now we'll cut the ends of these off and move on to the next one. So these punch down connectors come with a little cover that goes over the wires. We forgot to put those on, so Dan's gonna do that, but I have to leave. If you like these sort of tip videos or little project videos, let me know down in the comments or just hit that like button. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you along for some of my future adventures. You'll see we do all sorts of weird stuff here. I got the 3D printer fired up. If you're watching my normal videos, we're welding in the shop. I'd love to have you along. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Put our little color code thingamajig on here, and then these just click into the plate. Now that we've punched down both connectors and we stuck them in the plate, I'm just gonna tuck the extra wire in there. I like to leave a little extra wire in case anything ever needs to be rewired. There's still some slack. Now, most of the time with a low voltage new work cover like this, you're actually gonna be pushing your screw through the drywall because there's nothing back there. We didn't cut a big enough hole for like a normal fitting, but that's fine. It really doesn't matter. And perfect. We have internet. It's a little bit faster than it was running before. What'd you say you're getting before, Dan?
1.6.
Ugh. This is tolerable. So if this is something you're needing to do in your home, go ahead and give it a shot. You really don't need a lot of tools. You don't need the fancy crimpers that I used. Wire strippers, a drill, concrete bit, you're good to go. Thanks. I'll catch you on the next one.